Hi, welcome to Building. This is another Good Questions with Will. One of the best questions I've gotten so far is, how do I know which coffee to choose? Of course, the only correct answer to any question about coffee is it depends. And it depends on what you're going to do with it. Are you going to make espresso? Are you going to do a French press or a pour over? Is there some kind of weird science chemistry set that you have in your kitchen that you want to brew with? Well, let me give you a few basics about how I choose coffees and what I want to do with them. I'm very lucky I have all of the brewing equipment that I could ever want, so I can make a few choices, take a risk on an unknown coffee, and then figure out which brewing method works. But for those of us at home, we often only have one or two brewing methods lying around, so we really want to make the most of our purchase. Today I'm going to talk about Samba Brazil. This is what I would call a utility coffee. This is really good every way you brew it. It might not be the most exciting and fruity pour over you've ever had, but it's going to be drinkable, sweet, balanced, and an enjoyable cup that pleases most coffee drinkers. Another thing about this is that it makes a really great espresso. If I were going to have my way, I would probably blend this with something a lot brighter and fruitier with a smaller percentage, just so it kind of expands the flavor profile and allows us to enjoy more. But for now, I'm just going to brew an espresso using the Brazil. I'm going to use a slightly smaller shot. And so it's not quite a ristretto, but it's also a little smaller than the normal. I'm going to start with 20 grams of ground coffee. That's the size of portafilter basket that I have. So if we look on most of the high quality portafilter baskets, somewhere on there is the size. It's always a good idea to have a dedicated dry towel just for wiping out the portafilter. I'm gonna dose it, make sure I get it in there evenly. And then I'm just gonna kind of knock down the high spots. And this lateral tapping will allow me to evenly distribute the coffee all around, up and down. So I'm gonna distribute and tamp. My leveling tool is just gonna make it nice and pretty. And then I'm going to give it just a nice 10 kg tamp. No reason to push too hard. The coffee will stop you. I'm going to lock it in and set up my cups. I like to brew onto a scale just so I know exactly how much water I'm using. For those of you without a scale at home, just kind of have to do trial and error and at least use a timer. Okay, so let's see where this one takes us. Okay, so that was about 35 grams of liquid to a 20 gram dose in about 28 seconds, which is pretty ideal in my book. Of course, I made 2 cups because coffee is always better when you share. So drink up and enjoy. Here's your coffee. Wow, not a bad first try. So this one's kind of like what I would call a peanut butter and jelly sandwich espresso. It's got definitely lots of peanut butter, a bit of milk chocolate drizzled on there, some kind of toasty character, and a little bit of grape jelly on the top there. It's a really easy drinking espresso that mixes well with milk if your propensity is to have lattes or cappuccinos. Excuse me while I enjoy this. Yum. Now let's head over to our pour over station and have a go with the Brazil on paper filter.